competition floor in Dickies Arena as the 2024 CrossFit Games have come to Fort Worth, Texas for the first time since 2007. I'm Chase Ingram. Along with me is Adrian Conway. Mike Arsenault will be joining us shortly. As we have Midline Climb to be the first event here inside Dickies Arena for these individuals.
It's an exciting one, Chase. It's filled with 50 deadlifts, 3 rope climbs, 50 ski-erg calories, 3 rope climbs, 50 GHD sit-ups, 3 rope climbs, and then they reverse the order and go back to finish with those 50 deadlifts at 225 pounds.
10 athletes taking the floor here in heat number 3, as we saw in the previous heat. Lane number 5, Lazar Jukic. And in this heat would be his brother in lane number 1. And for the next 2 heats, as we saw in the previous one,
1 minute.
Lane number 5 will be left empty to honor Lazar Jukic. More on Luka Jukic. Let's go down to Mike Arsenault.
Yeah, Luka scheduled to be in lane number 1 of this heat. He has not signed into the competition. However, he was here early this morning during the tribute to his brother. I don't know if it was exactly captured on the broadcast, but as the athletes were departing, the crowd here at Dickies Arena gave all the athletes, including Luka, a standing ovation, and it was one of the most powerful moments I've ever experienced in this sport.
Yeah, man, it's hard to put into words when you see that. We were all in this moment together here with close friends, close family, fellow competitors for that tribute.
10 seconds.
And this is just a perfect example of what you see here. Everybody's dealing with it. We're all in the thick of it. And we get an opportunity to at least be doing it together here.
Ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Individual event.
Heat number 3 underway. 50 deadlifts at 225 for the men. As you just saw that raw motion from the 2-time CrossFit Games champ Lazar Jukic. Travis Mayer on the right side of your screen. Luke Parker and Brandon Luckett working in their second set of 10 deadlifts. 50 reps to start. They'll advance their bar every 10 reps. Just joining us in the previous heat, the 2023 CrossFit Games individual male champ Jeff Adler has also decided not to compete this weekend. We saw the same thing happen on the women's side with your 2023 champ Laura Horvath. See Justin Medeiros, there's just that entire family. It's just a good group.
Yeah. Yeah, good group, great family, great support system. We know that they are, they historically get a little bit more excited than Justin himself to be competing. But man, it's one of those things. We're out here. We saw Justin get emotional even before the kickoff of this, and this is a 2-time CrossFit Games champion right here who is known for. He's got a strong mind, man. He's strong between the ears, and to see even someone like that to be emotionally invested in losing a friend, fellow competitor, and then still have the ability to come out and perform. I mean, it's again, we're all filling this out, and it's very foreign, and there's no rules, there's no guidebook on how to actually go about this, but we're out here figuring it out together. And Justin was just putting on a really great example of something that he's pretty good at, man, which is like, I'm going to game this a little different than some of my other competitors, and still end up right beside him as he broke up heavily those first 50 deadlifts.
All 3 getting the ski at the same time. You had Justin Medeiros, Jason Hopper, and Dallin Pepper. Jake Crouch is in the mix with them as well. And you're saying earlier, Adrian, is that there's no right way to approach this. At the same time, there's no wrong way. We're all in this together. We're having our own experience up here as well as we're trying to work through this alongside everyone else. And we're just watching people get through it. You guys are watching at home. We're with you. We're right there beside you. As Jason Hopper's working into his 50 cal ski. The number to get to is 103. As Hopper is approaching the 70 cal mark with Pepper, Medeiros, and Crouch. Just reps behind. Travis Mayer, who had to have a last-ditch effort at semifinals just to get here. This is his 9th appearance, but his first appearance was in 2013. and is the only athlete of that class that year still competing on the competition floor.
Yes, he has been around, tried and true Travis. He has been around, been up and down, all around on the leaderboard, but it's great to see him back. He's here. He's going to put on a consistent display of fitness, and I'll tell you, within his wheelhouse, he has the ability to perform at a high level at a chipper like this. These movements are things that he can excel at, from hinging to climbing and including the GHD.
Dallin Pepper, 5th place last year, a teen phenom. Never lost at the CrossFit Games as a teen. Took him a couple years to get on the competition floor. Fittest man in America last year.
Yeah. At the ripe old age of 22, Chase. He's got a lot of experience under his belt, and one of the things that you talk about when you talk about high-level success in any sport is having the it factor. And it really seems as though Dallin has it. Not only does he have a high-level work capacity and discipline, and he loves CrossFit, he loves the sport. His family got him into CrossFit. He was a non-believer for a while, and then coming out of high school sports, he was like, I guess I'll give it a go, Mom and Dad. And, well, it turns out your son's pretty fit, Mr. and Mrs. Pepper.
Race on the road between Dallin Pepper, Jason Hopper, and Justin Medeiros. As Hopper and Pepper have a 1-rep lead on Justin. Jay Crouch back in the mix. Jay Crouch had a great year last year at the CrossFit Games. Trying to keep pace to your top two. Medeiros is done. Crouch, 1 more rep to go. It's Jason Hopper and Dallin Pepper are working into their first set of 50 GHD sit-ups. 156 is the number they're trying to get to.
None of these men strangers to GHD sit-ups and cycling them at a high rate. Keep your eye at the bottom of your screen. Justin Medeiros. He has a very high ability to cycle these reps fast and very consistently. So if there's a place he can make up some time, close the gap, gain ground, whatever it is, wherever he finds himself here, this could be that place to make those moves for Justin.
And you think of the course of the weekend that Justin Medeiros wants to find himself on back the top of the podium. Won the CrossFit Games in 2021, repeated in 2022, and when we saw that happen, we thought Justin might be that next dominant male athlete in the sport, where Jeff Adler got the win last year. Medeiros, 13th place last year, not obviously the performance he wanted to, but it looks like he's retooled his game a little bit, got first place quietly at the West Coast Classic. Yeah. You were there.
No, it was extremely quietly, Chase. I mean, like, all weekend he's flying under the radar, just being the well-rounded athlete that he is. And that's what makes him most dangerous is we understand we're here to find the fittest on earth, and that doesn't mean that you have to win or dominate any one particular event or task. But what it means is that you perform statistically best across the conclusion of the week. And Justin has that capacity, and he's shown it already to us twice.
Dallin Pepper is done. 156 side by side with Hopper. They have yet to get past him, but here comes Justin Medeiros. And with that transition right to the rope, has now moved himself into first place, right alongside with Jason Hopper.
These athletes, Chase, are going to find themselves in a very uncomfortable position in about 2 minutes, bro. And I mean that by saying that, they're looking neck and neck. They're looking from side to side. As they make their way back to that GHD sit-up, they're going to understand that every second is a second lost or a second gain on the back half of this event. They're going to have to be uncomfortable to have the result that they hope for.
And just like that, Justin Medeiros has moved slightly ahead of Jason Hopper, who's quickly making his way to the GHD at the top part of your screen, along with Dallin Pepper. So a 3-horse race here in heat number 3. We still got another heat left to go.
And as all these men actually have the full intention of being in the top 10 after a few more of these events, they understand that there are 10 standing by. They know the time to beat that was set by Pat Vellner already, and they have already even eyed up some of these times that are close to it, and they gotta have the motivation to beat it.
Justin Medeiros in the four part of your screen. Made the 2020 Games as a rookie. You see Brandon Luckett, who was back at the CrossFit Games for the first time since 2021. He's been on team a few times. Yep. Not only is he one of the more fittest people in the world, he's probably one of the smartest people here at Dickies Arena as a physicist.
Yeah, I feel like that's kind of playing with house money. It's unfair advantage. A part of that, being that wise and your wisdom there with your knowledge. But I love Brandon Luckett, and I love him because, you know, I was following him throughout the course and development of this season, and he's big on overstretching himself with like this whole, you know, I'm washed up. Don't count me out. Go ahead and count me out. I'm washed up, right? And then here he is back at the CrossFit Games at 29 after taking a year to focus on the teams.
Brandon Luckett trying to finish his last climb. Again, these climbs in the middle are nearly 18 feet high, where the other ropes are just at 13. Luke Parker, back at the CrossFit Games. This is his second appearance. Watching his interviews he was doing with Dave Castro leading up to the CrossFit Games, and he thought the most infamous thing about him was being on The Bachelor, but apparently it's not knowing what the workout Cindy is.
Oh, yeah.
That he knows now full and well. He did it afterwards, and Luke Parker's on the GHD as Justin Medeiros is starting to do what Justin Medeiros does. It's just a slow, steady pull away from the rest of the field.
Justin tagging top of the ring as he makes his way back.
These three men here, not just fighting to be one of the fittest on earth. I mean, these three are going to be going hand in hand, mano a mano, to be the fittest American male for the next several years. I see that as a strong battle, and I'm sure they're more than aware of where each other are right now.
Dallin Pepper, Jason Hopper at the top part of your screen onto the skier. Justin Medeiros at 215 total reps, 50 cals on the ski. The number the athletes are trying to get to, 262. As we are approaching the 10-minute mark, you look at the upper left corner of your screen. That is the clock, and we are on the ski erg portion of this long chipper. 50 reps of deadlift, ski erg, and GHD sit-ups. 3 rope climbs in between, and we're making our way back to the finish line. You can see the number of cals the athletes are on that digital board just behind them as Justin Medeiros is approaching 65. The number he's getting to is 100.
Yeah, and this is where Pepper and Hopper, both being a touch bigger and heavier than Medeiros, could add a little bit of advantage coming into the erg to close that gap. All three clearly within a very close caloric output there on the ski erg. But it favors that long frame as we're watching these athletes now go calorie for calorie as they prepare for the next 3 rope climbs. Chase, we mentioned as one of the key focuses of this actually to be pace early, race late. We're getting every bit of that on the back half of this from these 3. Now the question is, how close was their self-awareness? Do they have the ability to like ride this line where they can actually push and race here on these calories, hold it together with their grip, and then be able to link together deadlifts and clips of 10.
You're talking about some calorie output. Jason Hopper and Dallin Pepper have caught and passed Justin Medeiros. They were a good 5 to 7 reps behind him when they get to the skier, but he's talking about, look, big boys, house money when it comes to machines, and then 2 guys you think about that can make the most of it, Jason Hopper, Dallin Pepper.
No doubt about it. They're big fans of ergs. These guys have a unique presence with one another. Jason and Dallin do on social media and in real life and here head-to-head on sport. They love to give each other a hard time and, of course, talk about how they're going to beat each other down in different looming events. But their natural strengths as competitors also go hand in hand, and their output on ergs is certainly one of them.
Jason Hopper moves on. Upper left corner of your screen, just past the 12-minute mark. Below that, the time to beat. 14:14:05, set by Pat Vellner in heat number 1. Jason Hopper, 1 climb in. 1 climb left to go, excuse me. As Hopper will touch and come down and make his way to the barbell. 50 reps. 225 on the bar. It's a race on the deadlift to see who will take it between these 3, and can any of them take the time to beat it. 14:14. Justin Medeiros on the left side, your 2-time CrossFit Games champ, right to the bar. Dallin Pepper in the middle to his right, puts on his belt.
And I gotta say, Chase, Dallin took that time to put on his belt. It literally cost him nothing. That was one of the smoothest pick up and equip yourself with a belt transitions I've seen.
Jason Hopper trying to hold off Justin Medeiros and Dallin Pepper. He's got a 5-rep lead. Pepper and Justin trying to run down Jason Hopper. Hopper starting to slow a little bit.
Yeah, you can see it on his face. Watch his body language as the bar hits the ground. It's different. He'll start to lose a little bit of tension the more fatigue that he builds. Him making eye contact with his judge every rep just to make sure, hey, am I showing you a full extended leg and a full extended hip? Give me all these reps. I don't want to have to redo any.
Jason Hopper trying everything he can to hold off Dallin Pepper and Justin Medeiros. Dallin Pepper, 1 rep back, 20 reps left to go. Here comes Dallin Pepper. Justin Medeiros slowly moving his bar forward. They advance the bar every 10 reps. Jason Hopper keeps looking to the left. He might want to peek to the right because Dallin Pepper's trying to run him down. 10 reps for Hopper. 15 seconds before we hit the time to beat. Pat Vellner waiting in the wing to see if Hopper can hold on and get across the finish line. And it's going to be close. And with that run, I want to call it a run, that finish, it looks like Vellner's time will stand. Pepper, Medeiros, 26-27. Jason Hopper held on, but I don't know if he had a sprint in him the way he finished there. And we've seen that. We felt that.
Oh, yeah.
We get that.
Absolutely have been there. Absolutely have seen it before. And it is normal when your posterior has absolutely had it. That even is another sign that not just Hopper, but all 3 of these men that just finished closely, they were at their threshold and rode that threshold from the midway point of this workout.
5 reps remaining in heat number 3. Jay Crouch got the midway point of his deadlifts. He has 20 reps left to go. Jay Crouch's 5th appearance here at the CrossFit Games as an individual. He's actually on the team twice prior to that. And that is the best finish last year in 2023 in 8th place. Getting between that 15 to 16 minute mark. Already had 2 heats prior to this, and those times will be a factor. We still have 1 heat remaining. The top 10 guys from day number 1 will be in this 4th and final heat. Travis Mayer on the left side of your screen is 10 reps ahead of the man chasing him on his right, Luke Parker.
And you see this chase from different athletes' body language is the way this plays out for him. It's a story of 2 tales, essentially. One where an athlete's limited by what's called local muscle endurance. That means their posterior is so blown up, meaning that there's so much fatigue and lactate built in a particular tissue that they just can't pick up the bar anymore. They can't do more reps. And then there's athletes that have the physiological ability to keep doing reps, but their heart and their lungs can't keep up and they're so out of breath. Those are the athletes that look to be suffering when you're like, oh my goodness, they look like they could throw up right now, or maybe they can't even take another breath.
15 reps left for Travis Mayer. He will advance his bar into the final section. Athletes advancing their bar every 10. Three minutes until we hit that 20-minute count. Travis Mayer, your next man up to finish. 5 reps left to go. He will get across the finish line. As Luke Parker is into his last section, Luke Parker, him and his wife Jennifer are expecting their first child, a baby boy, at the end of this month. So congratulations to the Parkers.
Had to check my watch just to look at the date, Chase, and I'll tell you, I hope he's got his go bag ready. You never know the date.
Get a call on the bat phone. Luke Parker is done. 2 athletes left on the floor. Brandon Luckett. And that's Bruno Marines. His training partner, roommate, and travel buddy with Callian Souza. 90 seconds to go. 10 reps.
We're seeing some no reps even for Luckett and Bruno. They got to stand tall with the barbell. Legs have to be extended and their shoulders have to be stacked on top of their hips all at the same time.
Marines is done. And Luckett. Just a handful of reps that he had to take a very big break after a couple of those no reps he got.
Yeah. This is where we see, this is that local muscle endurance, movement pattern, a bit of limitation. If there was a lift that Brandon probably had to say, I really want to do, it probably would not be deadlifts. And so that's how you know.
I feel you. Brandon Luckett is done as he'll walk across the finish line. As Jason Hopper in position to set the time to beat, just missed it by 2 seconds, but he will have the second best time.
Man, it was the kickoff to this that really got us all to start this thing. It was thinking about Lazar. It was thinking about Luca, who was going to take the place in this heat. And it was Justin putting just, I mean, somehow being able to set that aside and get ready to work in this event. And as we built, of course, we saw all the athletes doing their best to keep the intensity and keep the fight. And it was Jason Hopper who really took ownership of this, not only even at the midway point, but it was during the final stretch, the 3 rope climbs into the final 50 deadlifts, and he was able to hang on for big sets to put him across the finish line and establish that time to beat.